high spots and cheap hops. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Silicon Steve Valli with Vladi, Dadi. And we are getting excited to one of the biggest weekends of professional wrestling we've had in a while with two major pay-per-views from both big companies. Vladi, Dadi, we're going to start with Clash at the Castle. Will it be the moment where Roman Reigns finally loses his Universal Undisputed World Heavyweight Championship? Is that the name of it? I don't know. Vladi, Dadi, how are you doing? It's good to be back.
It's great to be back. It's great to see you again. And it's awesome to get together on this huge weekend for professional wrestling as we do our predictions for two events. So it's really an incredible time that we're looking at. And here we're looking at Clash of the Castle, a very intriguing pay-per-view as it is the first pay-per-view without Vince McMahon's fingerprints all over it.
Ever
is right. So it is. I'm looking forward to this, actually. I'm not sure if I'll watch it live because I get a little bit annoyed that I can't fast forward and this and that. But I will definitely be checking it out over Labor Day weekend for sure. And there's a couple matches here that I'm really intrigued with, honestly. This is going to be pretty cool. So if you don't mind, we'll get the predictions rolling here. You and I, as always, competing against each other, mind versus mind, trying to figure out what these two companies will do, and this one specifically with WWE. So therefore, let's roll with it. The Intercontinental Championship is on the line. I think the fans are going to go crazy for this one. The Irishman known as Sheamus versus the Austrian known as Gunther.
I think the Austrian retains his Intercontinental Championship. He's on a roll. I think they're going to have an absolute epic battle. I have to go with Walter or Gunther.
Yes. And I agree with you completely. And this is one of the matches I'm looking forward to. Like, I'm not the biggest Sheamus fan necessarily. There's been some good matches where I've been entertained, but this is one where I think Gunther will definitely bring out the best in Sheamus. And this is going to be a throwback sort of match. I mean, we're going to probably hear the slaps from across the Atlantic over here in New Jersey. So I'm like really looking at it. Yeah, they're going to be stiff with each other. It's going to be
right there. No, man, I'm going with stiff.
Quite a striker. We got a striker in here. So we have this epic. And again, for the Intercontinental title, this is exactly what this title's for, is two guys like this. Let them show it off. So I'm really happy about that. Next match. This one, quite the venom behind it. And it is a grudge match of sorts where we have none other than, and I'll use his full name, Matt Riddle, as he's being now called. Thank you, Triple H. Versus Seth Rollins without the freaking.
Well, I have to disagree. I'm on WWE.com, and it's just on WWE.com. It's saying Riddle versus Seth freaking Rollins.
They're behind. If you watch Raw during their segment, it was Matt Riddle on one side and Seth Rollins on the other, on the crown.
Good for you, Triple H. Just little things like that is what's going to make this product a lot better, and that's why it's already a lot better consistently, anyway.
Yeah. So do you want me to go or do you want to go on this one?
Well, you already wrote yours out. I'm literally coming up with these on the fly with a lot of things going on. I'm going to go because he cut a great promo and didn't laugh like an asshole once. I'm going to go with Mr. Seth Rollins, and for finally having me take you seriously, Seth. Great job. I think he takes out the brosif.
I agree with you. That's who I took as Rollins as well. And you know what? Like, that was a good, I don't know if you caught the part of the segment where they came back and Rollins brought up how Riddle's wife left him.
Yes, I did.
And his kids. And then all of a sudden you got Riddle dropping F-bombs.
Fuck you, bro. Bro, fuck off, bro. I'm going to fucking kill you, bro.
It was definitely something like that for sure. And again, that's not anything we've usually seen from the talent. So they're starting to sort of bring in the real life angles here. And what Riddle and Rollins have never really liked each other. Riddle's one of those guys that is abrasive to people and they don't like him. But here we go. And
he doesn't seem like he has fucks to give like the rest of them.
Right. Yeah. He's very close to character, I think.
He's the interaction with he and Goldberg has been pretty funny. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. And you know what? I do love Matt Riddle with Randy Orton, of course. But somewhere down the line, I would love to see him pair up with RVD for just a nostalgic sake.
Oh, my God. It would be nice. And RVD's still in great shape, so there's no reason.
Yeah, it's possible. It's a possible.
Having threesomes with hot women all the time. Good for him. Katie Forbes.
Oh, there you go. So one of the ways I guess he keeps in shape. So next match, let's go with none other than it is a trios match of sort. I'll use that term here. Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka versus Bayley, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai.
You got to take the newcomers just because they've lost a couple matches too, including I guess they were in the tag title match and lost to Aaliyah and Raquel Rodriguez. Is that the two new women's tag champions?
Yep. So you are taking Bayley and company, also almost known as Damage Control.
They better learn how to cut some promos other than Bayley.
Yeah. And I got a feeling Bayley might just become the mouthpiece there. But I agree with you.
The excitement from where they were at, I think, has really fallen off quite substantially in just a few weeks. So they have to rekindle that. I think the way to do that is to beat your biggest baby face than two people who you haven't booked or has been injured.
Yeah. So you're going Bayley as well? Okay. So, and then also I'm thinking they're building up for Bayley versus Bianca Belair. I mean, that should be a pretty good feud.
And I think Bayley should win that one eventually.
Yeah, she did. You know what? That would be a good way to sort of reset things leading into, say, Mania, if you will. Okay. Next match, we got the SmackDown Women's Championship on the line. None other than New Jersey's own Liv Morgan.
Leave.
Or Liv Morgan. I'm thinking of Liv Tyler versus Shayna Baszler.
I have a question. Why do people hate Liv Tyler all of a sudden, or Liv Morgan all of a sudden?
You know what? That match with Ronda Rousey sort of backfired because they turned on her during that promo the night after, and very strange. She's the underdog, and it's as if she doesn't deserve it. They're trying to build up Ronda almost like a Stone Cold type with the whole security and cop thing. I'm cool with Liv Morgan. I'm happy that, really, I think you and I exchanged some messages about this, but I think she's the first non-horsewoman to have the title in I don't know how many years. I mean, they had to change something here, as far as that. So like on SmackDown. So yeah, that's the way I'm going to is actually, did you even say who you're going with on, or do you want me to go?
Oh, I think Liv Morgan wins it. Will retain.
I agree. And I'm wondering if there's any sort of interference or a mishap with Ronda Rousey making an appearance. And you
would think maybe they start. I don't know if Liv Morgan is a great heel. I think, not sure what they're going to do there, but I think if they were smart, they would put Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey together. Because if Rousey's with somebody else, you can kind of hide some of her warts a little bit.
I agree.
Baszler can take some of the promo stuff off. She can have maybe even a little bit more fun when she's wrestling, hanging out with her friends. I think you put Rousey with Baszler, even in a tag team. I don't know how you turn them baby faces, but Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey can be the badass baby faces easily as well. But I think Morgan holds on to this one.
Yeah, I agree. I think she's coming back to the States with the title and, is going to carry on until they sort of reset things a little bit here and figure out what exactly they want to do. It's like not saying that she's like a placeholder champion. And again, I've never seen some like the fans turn on, especially the WWE in their universe, turn on an underdog. I just don't get it.
Weird, man.
It is weird. And if I was in creative, I wouldn't know what the hell to do with it either at that point. So
it's just poor Liv Morgan, just this kid living her dream. She was never supposed to be one of the big names. And she's worked her ass off to become a pretty darn good professional wrestler. And It's just professional wrestling fans. It's just they are a weird group of people sometimes, man. Because all it takes is one crowd to turn on them, and then every single crowd is going to turn on them. It's incredible, phenomenal, a phenomenon.
Yeah, definitely.
By the way, what's AJ Styles doing in this match? The phenomenal AJ Styles. He's doing this card. One of the best wrestlers in the world. He's got to be on there, right? Just kidding.
Evidently not. And no Bobby Lashley as well. So, and then we got the final match here, the main event. We've got none other than Drew McIntyre returning to the United Kingdom as the red hot babyface in this moment. He's like, I was a little bit down on Drew for a while there. I was a little bored and not sure, but you know what? He's really turned it around lately.
Yeah.
And
he's done a brilliant job getting him back to where he needed to be.
It's believable. And it's like, you know what? I'm looking forward to seeing him against Roman. Like, this is a pretty good matchup. And again, we got the head of the table, our tribal chief, looking to defend the belts, both belts actually, and against Drew McIntyre, and pretty much almost a home field advantage for him. So, again, your prediction here.
Well, I wanted to this is going to be the bread and butter of this segment.
Yes.
I'm going to pick Roman Reigns. And the reason I'm picking Roman Reigns is this has been a great title reign, but it's gotten a little stale. And if he loses here, he wouldn't feel quite as great. But if he can if Triple H has the balls to keep this title on Roman, despite the great booking of Drew the last couple of weeks, I don't know if this is the right moment still, even as I hate to say it. I don't know if it's time for Roman Reigns. Will Triple H have the guts? Will he have the guts to make that call in England, in Cardiff, Drew's backyard, so to speak? Will Triple H have the balls to put Roman Reigns over in this event? There are rumors and speculation. Seems as though Triple H is somebody is actually considering having Roman drop the title. I'm hoping Roman holds on to it a little bit longer. Then again, he is just a part-timer. But I'm picking with my heart. I'd like Roman to keep this title. And I think he's going to win. Because the heat and the booze. Oh, it would be a beautiful moment. I don't think Triple H has the balls to do that, though.
And that is literally why I'm going the opposite direction. I am choosing McIntyre.
Yeah.
I just, if it was in the United States, I'd say Roman, but I have a feeling they're going to want that place to be electric at the end of it.
Yeah. With
Roman being a part-timer, that's my thinking too. It's like, he's going to, I think they're setting up a little bit like Roman's separation from the bloodline a little bit here as well. You see, Jimmy and Jay sort of doing their thing with Sammy, and I think this is going to dovetail into something with KO and Sammy himself, and then they're going to also bring up their brother from NXT. So he's not that anybody replaces Roman, but you're going to have a third Uso be involved here. Yeah, I think to remain a faction, and then you'll have Roman return. So that's my thinking here. I'm going with Drew McIntyre. I think the place will go absolutely apeshit for them winning it there, and it'll be something else. And then you'll probably see McIntyre start almost immediately feuding with Karrion Kross, another big dude that's pretty legit in terms of like what he can do in the ring, and he's pretty badass himself. So the table is set.
Unless he's not wearing the BDSM gear, right?
Yeah, I know. As long as he's not doing this whole like Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome sort of weird thing that Vince envisioned.
But I also assumed you were going to pick Drew McIntyre, and I got to gain a match somewhere here.
Oh, yeah, I get it.
I think we picked that. I think every single one of our matches were the same. So I had to go different. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, Vladi Dadi has beat me into near submission going into the final weekend. I am down by 4 matches, and I have been the longest reigning champion on this broadcasting station here on YouTube. And it looks like Vladi Dadi will become the first 2-time Purple Nurple champion, as he will win if I don't make up 4 matches. And so the only way to do that I thought was to pick Roman. Just the hate and the booze coming down. Oh, it would be a beautiful thing because I would just laugh. I would laugh at them. But yeah, you're probably right. But there we go. That's what we got for Clash at the Castle. I keep on wanting to say Clash at Cardiff as well because of the C.
Yeah, alliteration.
I love it. The Cardiff Clash at the Castle. The Clash at the Castle in Cardiff. Cardiff.
Those were Vince's notes before he left out the door.
It's just a bunch of C words, and cuckold was like the 4th one down. John Laurinaitis, come here. I have a new job for you. Hey, pal. How would you like me to have sex with your wife in front of you? All right. How would you like to have sex with my wife, pal? Linda McMahon, I don't think, was part of that as much. She was too busy becoming evil.
Or just a politician.
Not lacking of sin like Vince. All right, so we're going to come.
So, yeah, that's our predictions there, man.
All right, so the only one we have different is going to be the World Championship match, the Undisputed Universal World Championship match. And there we go. So that's what we got for WWE. It's kind of fun just talking about the in-ring stuff. What do you feel like anything is moving forward before we move on? WWE, this pay-per-view, what do you think of Triple H's job so far? You give it on a scale of 0 to 10. So he's been there about a few weeks now.
You know what? I think it's just a better feel to the show. If you tell me I have to go and like maybe give him a rating, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say probably like a 7.
I'd say a 7 too. We're, like I said before, we're going to know what Triple H is made of by the time WrestleMania comes around.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with what I'm seeing. Yeah.
And by the way, he should be good at booking. If some jerk off Mark can be considered the booker of the year, what do you think a guy who's been one of the best wrestlers in the world and has learned right under the direction of Vince McMahon? Triple H should be a great booker. This shouldn't be brain surgery to him. And it's just good because you're getting the confidence. You're getting the little things like Riddle and Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins finally not laughing during a promo for the first time in how long? Oh, yeah, it was beautiful. I believed in you, Seth. He's become my favorite wrestler again. So I think that's what we're going to see Triple H is. I don't think it's anything.
And one thing to consider too, as far as the ratings are concerned, I believe Raw tied House of Dragon, which is like the hottest show right now, and they're like number 1 on cable again. Yeah, over 2,100,000 people like are watching it now. And
I contend that Raw has been a better show over SmackDown for several months, not just since. And I don't think it just started with Triple H. I'm talking about back in the spring. Raw was putting on a good show every single solitary week, and SmackDown was dog shit. So I'm glad to see Raw coming back, a little bit back to power and back to some glory, well-justified glory. But that's all we got for WWE. We'll be right back with AEW All Out. Wow, we have some shit going down here. We'll be right back with our AEW predictions going into All Out here on High Spots and Cheap Pops. Whoa, we're back! Ladies and gentlemen, it's Silicon Steve Valley, Vladi, Dadi. We just talked about Clash at Cardiff in the Castle with the cuckold and Coxman.
It's amazing how that word always comes up.
Well, we were going off of an earlier bit, for fuck's sake. Remember the Vince McMahon impersonation? For Christ's sake.
No, I remember. I'm just amazed. But again.
So we go to AEW All Out and a weirdly booked pay-per-view one that I'm excited for, as I could say anyway. So, Vladi, Dadi, are you ready for your all-out predictions?
I certainly am, sir. I certainly am. And you know what? Would you be up to even including the two actually, they have 3 kickoff matches? You cool with that?
Sure.
And you know what? Because there are titles involved. And
the FTW championship is on the line. Of course, that gives me more of an opportunity to catch up. So okay. I will take that. It's more of an opportunity. I will agree to that. The purple nurple is probably coming. Look, folks, it's in the 4th quarter. There's about 3 minutes left. I'm down by two and a half touchdowns. I'm down by 17 points.
Yeah.
That's where I'm looking into this weekend. So I will take. So what this does, it just extends the game, baby. Extends the game. And Silicon Steve Valli is not going to go out like a punk ass bitch.
Nope. And you could say, I should try to show you mercy.
Yes, you are a benevolent son of a bitch. Vladi, Dadi, you benevolent mother trucker, you.
So here we are, and we're leading off with this kickoff match. The AEW All-Atlantic Championship is on the line, and we have none other than Pac, who's one of the more gifted wrestlers on the planet for sure, against everybody's man under the box in the front row for week after week, Kip Sabian. Great build-up for this one, by the way, because he's been sitting in the front row for I don't know how many months.
I had no fucking idea who it was. I didn't care. I just was an asshole fan, to be honest with you.
No. This is an angle that the Booker of the Year is putting in front of us. So it's Pac against Kip Sabian. Have you seen?
He was Booker of the Year the last 2 years. Come on.
Yeah, I'm stating the obvious.
You didn't. Yeah, but you look at the context, Vladi, Dadi. You look at the context, sir. By the way, if anyone's seen this on Facebook, on YouTube, I had a little bit of a leg injury, so I do apologize. That's why I'm sitting like Shawn Michaels.
I just thought you were trying to distract me from my picks. So, and by the way, did you see Kip Sabian? I know you missed part of the show.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. He is. I like the look. I like it. The change is coming. I like it.
Look at that. All right. So here we go. Do you want me to go first? Or you want to go?
I'm going to take Pac. I don't think that's really.
Yeah, I agree. Pac as well. Shouldn't even be close. Not a Kip Sabian guy.
Is it Pac or Pac? They call him Pac on TV.
Yeah, they call him Pac. Yeah.
Pac
should be Pac.
Tupac.
Yeah, Tupac. I like Tupac.
He shot himself in the nuts. One Pac.
Yeah, there you go.
Remember that old joke? We're middle aged.
Oh man. So yeah. So for your pleasure, 2 middle-aged dudes giving you their predictions. On the next one, we have the FTW Championship. Another make-believe championship because we can't have enough titles on this show. So we have the FTW Championship with none other than Hook versus one of the worst jobbers on the show, Cool Hand Angelo Parker from the Jericho Appreciation Society, the guy who is so intimidating with a switchblade comb and suspenders, which adds to his personality. Really tremendous wrestler. Who are you picking on this one?
I'm going to take Hook.
No, really?
It's the fucking undercard. It's the free shit. What is this shit?
I mean,
God damn it! Can you believe Naughty lost with a roll up? God damn it!
I mean, I know. I mean, I'll just go right to it. I know Cool Hand Ange has had a lot more TV time than a certain tag team that I love.
This is all about FTR.
It's not all about it, but I'm just stating the obvious because here's Cool Hand Ange, and he's
Well, you look like you were 100% right. We'll get into the FTR stuff a little bit one more time to piggyback off of another segment we did, some other content we did. But we'll get into it. A lot of new stuff came out about FTR, which I think we could get into a little bit tonight. But I Cool Hand Ange is just, it's whatever.
So yeah, we're both in agreement of Hook. We'll just cut to the chase. I need to get my cheap shots on that.
Oh yeah,
talentless developmental guy from NXT. So let's go the next kickoff match. The return of the prodigal son, Eddie Kingston, fresh off suspension, by the way, versus Tomohiro Ishii.
I think Eddie Kingston wins that one. That's going to be a good match, though.
That place is going to be rocking for Eddie, man, especially with everything that's been going on. Eddie Kingston agreed. Like they need to start pushing Eddie here. Like not with the people. They just need to start pushing him as the everyman and let him mix it up with people.
I think they're doing that for the most part, but I think they got to. I think he's a future champion. I really do believe Eddie Kingston's going to have that seminal moment where he wins the world championship. I do believe that's going to be in the cards, probably within the next year and a half, I would say. But I don't think it'll be a long reign. I think he would probably drop it in like 2 or 3 matches.
I'll agree with you to a different level. I think he's going to be a world champion, but it'll be for Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I would see that. I mean, I think he would give just as much prominence to that as possible. So there you go. So, but Eddie Kingston is definitely other level in terms of popularity because he's real. He comes off as being real. He doesn't talk when he gets interviewed. He doesn't talk like he doesn't shoot. He literally hates everybody, it seems. But he does it. He does it in a much more subtle way. He does just as good of a job as MJF does. As they don't refer to wrestling as a work ever, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? MJF does the same thing. Eddie Kingston and MJF do the very same exact thing. When they have adversaries in the ring, it's not like John Cena. Oh, I think CM Punk is a great guy, and I thought he was just fun and very talented to work with, very entertaining. No, Eddie Kingston says this guy's a dickhead. I don't like him. I fucking hate Chris Jericho. He's a prick. For Eddie Kingston, I don't know how much is a work and how much is a shoot. I think a lot of times he's working us. But he acts like he's never working. Same thing with MJF. And they could have both of them always working us.
Yeah. He's a different kind of cat in this world that we're so entertained by, for sure. So,
by the way, go back a year and a half. You were, even when I was starting to say I like this guy Eddie Kingston, you were burying that jerk off from Yonkers. I believe you were calling him.
Yeah, I did. And a big reason that was because of the first match I saw him in was against Cody Rhodes with the open challenge. And I thought Cody, here was the thing. It's an open challenge. Eddie Kingston's coming out to go and prove himself. Right. And I just thought Cody carried him, even doing the crazier stuff, and from what I recall in that match. And I was just here, this guy had the chance, didn't really go above and beyond. And all I saw was the New York accent, or all I heard was the New York accent. That was to me his charm, if you will. But I've been proven wrong. He is a cool cat at this point, and honestly, they need to push him in a certain way. Keep him away from Jericho too. By the way,
I'm a little over Jericho too, a little bit. Not as much as Vladi Dadi. Vladi Dadi has. I honestly think you're sending hate mail, literal hate mail to Chris Jericho, not emails. You are literally handwriting. You are a piece of shit. You're an overrated sack of crap, and you're holding other talent down. And what the fuck is 2.0? Cool Hand Angelo, is that really his name? I don't get it. He's a douchebag. Fuck you. You used to be good, now you just suck. Signed, Vladi Dadi.
P.S. I don't care that Jake Hager saved your life in Saudi Arabia.
P.S. P.S.S. Nobody cares.
Right. Okay, I got to see a Jake Hager match again. Great. All right, let's go to the next match here.
That match getting good. I wasn't able to catch it.
You know what? Again, he's in the ring with who I would say is probably the best wrestler on the planet right now, and it's just it was too even-handed for me. They need to get Bryan Danielson under control and push him and say no to him for being so benevolent to the rest of the roster at this point. But let's get to this next match here, man. We got Miro, Darby Allin, Sting against the House of Black, the Redeemer, Darby, Sting.
Well,
the House of Black. Yep.
Sorry about that. I didn't know you were doing the whole Shivani thing. I apologize.
No problem, buddy.
Well, the rumors were come out recently, broke online today, that Malachi Black, FKA Aleister Black, I don't know if they were related, the two characters, but we'll see. Anyways, there were rumors that he asked for his AEW release and there was something probable that he wants to possibly go work with Hunter Hearst Helmsley, who he worked with NXT. So the question, many people, with that being said, I don't think that was accurate. I think there was something that was definitely a rumor, and it was confirmed to be a rumor. But where there's smoke, there's fire. I would suggest Sting is going to remain undefeated on pay-per-view. It really comes down to Sting won't lose on pay-per-view.
That and I think Miro's due for a win here as well. I mean, he did not win the last time, and it was that match that Pac won the title. Yeah, and I think and again at this point they've gone and sort of neutered the House of Black to a certain extent, especially Malachi here. And let's keep in mind when Malachi arrived and he was feuding with Cody, you were one of the biggest proponents I've ever seen for Malachi Black. You were digging it. And they had lightning in a bottle and they opened the bottle and it just fizzled out.
I mean, losing to the Dark Order is weird.
I mean, it's not weird when you consider who their friends are.
But I think House of Black continues their doldrums, and I think there's a very good possibility maybe Malachi Black is not super happy, but I have a feeling that there's going to be a change in his booking opposed to just an outright release. So, it would be kind of silly if Tony Khan said, "Okay, bye."
Yeah, I don't think he's going to let him go. By the way,
no, he wouldn't just be like, "Okay, no problem, buddy." I mean, he's got to be, and you see Tony Khan starting to realize it's a business. They did not re-sign Bobby Fish, which he was right in the middle of a big storyline. So what the fuck?
Yeah, and again, you and I are not necessarily the biggest Bobby Fish fans, but we know the role and service that he plays in that storyline and with those groups, and it's like, he was a part of something called the Undisputed Elite, and now they were supposed to feud, and ever since Adam Cole turned on him, we haven't even seen them. They haven't even mentioned it.
Unless he's taking some independent bookings, and then they're going to bring him back. They just didn't want to pay him for the next 3 months while Adam Cole and Riley were out.
I have no idea what's going on there, but it was a little bit surprising.
They definitely blew something there, whether because of injury or whatever the case may be. That AEW did not handle Undisputed Era and Elite. That's going to be the end of it. Really scary faction. That's what happens when you go get people from developmental.
Yeah, definitely.
Which Cody Rhodes famously said in his last promo in AEW.
Yeah, he certainly did. All right, next match. It's a grudge match of ways. Former partners blew up the whole Team Taz thing over it. We have Ricky Starks against none other than the man who breaks backs, Powerhouse Hobbs.
I think Ricky Starks gets the victory here. I think he's going to start getting a little bit of a push. But I think Hobbs will look very strong in the loss. Maybe it's a roll-up. Maybe it's something that's almost like a fluke. I think Hobbs looks strong, but Ricky Starks gets the win.
I totally agree with you on this, man. And you know what? And here's what I'm worried about. And they're sort of flirting with it. They can't help themselves. If God is my witness, if I see QT Marshall or anybody involved with that low life job squad get involved in this match and cost Powerhouse Hobbs the match, I'm going to be so annoyed.
I don't think they usually don't have those matches go down like that. They don't have a lot of interference in their matches. So I certainly don't think if they do Vladi Dadi.
Disgrace, right?
I'm bringing that face back.
That's mad. That's evil. That's disappointed. And that's the thing, and really it's not even so much about the booking. It's about like the involvement of Powerhouse Hobbs, who I think could be a major, huge star there, man. He has it. And I would be like pushing that guy to the moon as much as I could. But yeah, that's just me. I'm just a mark without money.
Well, I think Powerhouse Hobbs is going to get it, but I don't believe you would suggest that he's a more complete professional wrestler right now as Ricky Starks. So I think Ricky Starks' time is probably more. But Hobbs is going to get his chance. He has a lot of people that love him.
Yeah. I'm not saying anything against Ricky Starks. I think Ricky Starks is one of the more talented guys and definitely the hottest babyface, probably one of the hottest baby faces on there right off the top of my head. And he has sort of the it factor, right? I can't deny that. But Powerhouse, to me, like that guy's a monster. Like, it's believable. Like, he is a badass dude that you would not want to get a fighting with. And then basically, you put him out there and it's just limitless to me, much more than Keith Lee. See how I did that? That was a pretty good segue. As a matter of fact, let's go to that match, right? We are going to go and see. I'm going to actually go a little bit out of order since I made that segue. The AEW World Tag Team Championship, Swerve in Our Glory versus the, I guess they must be the ranked number one tag team, right? At this point,
it's FTR.
Oh, wait. Are you sure about that? Because they do have a ranking system. Tag team wrestling was going to be put on a pedestal in AEW,
which it has. Come on.
And for the last 3 months, like, the number one tag team that's been ranked has been getting AEW title shots, right?
No,
it's only been a quarter, right? Oh, no. Okay, that's sort of weird. That's talking out of both sides of a certain Mark's face.
Has anybody asked Tony Khan about this? And the funny thing is, if you guys don't remember, I don't think FTR has anything against Tony Khan per se right now, because if you saw the media scrum after the last pay-per-view, Forbidden Door, Dax Harwood came out and said that he's the greatest guy he ever worked for. So there's not a lot of hate or disdain for Tony Khan. There's probably just a wondering what the fuck.
Yeah, instead of FTR, they should change their names to WTF. So who do you say here? You got Swerve in Our Glory versus the not number one ranked tag team, the Acclaimed, who I'm a fan of, as a matter of fact. I will say that. I do like them. I think they are highly entertaining.
And they're a top 5 tag team.
Top 5, but not number 1, just to clarify. We are reporters.
I'm taking the Acclaimed.
Interesting. Very interesting. I am taking Swerve in Our Glory.
Yeah, I think they're probably going to win. I think you're right, but I assumed you were going to pick them, and that's something I'd like to see as well. It's kind of like Roman.
Yeah, I got you, man. And that's one of the matches I kind of went back and forth with myself. I'm like, I could see either way, and honestly, and this is the clunky thing about it. They've hinted about Swerve turning on Keith Lee, and then that sort of died down a little bit, and we haven't seen it as much. And I'm like, I could see that all of a sudden popping up again in this match, and then perhaps the Acclaim winning. Yeah. So I'm calling it sort of conservatively. I'm like, I just have a feeling that they might not do it at this pay-per-view. So that's why I took Swerve in Our Glory. That was it. But you could very well be right.
And by the way, I also who the number 2 or number 3 ranked tag team in AEW is?
Hold on. Let me think. Trustbusters?
The Young Bucks. The reason I say that is because that particular graphic came up on there when they got introduced last night. Why would they do that? Just to throw it in there? Maybe, possibly. But if the Acclaimed can, the Young Bucks can beat either the Acclaimed or Swerve in Our Glory. The Young Bucks win a third time and then set up for FTR, because I think Tony Khan at this point in time, he can't stop. I think the pressure is going to be too great to get this match done now. And I have a feeling that Full Gear you're going to see once again at Full Gear, because they wrestled the Full Gear for the first time 2 years ago. I think you might get FTR and a Young Bucks that quickly, because I think Tony Khan has always said he listens to his fans. FTR, he clearly has not. So he's got to make up for that. Do you put the titles on the Bucks or do you put them on FTR before that? either way, it's going to be they got to get this match done a lot quicker than I thought. I don't think a year from now is going to work. You're going to need to do it in 6 months. If not, then that might even be too late.
I agree with what you just said, man. I would have been a mark for Tony Khan if that match was happening in 2 days here. You know, as you and I read the excerpts from a podcast that FTR did, mentioning, they even said, hey, we got all the titles right now. The 2 best tag teams in the last 10 years or whatever, going at it together. I mean, that would have been awesome, just awesome. And honestly, I would have probably even expected, I would have hoped that FTR would win. But if it was a great match, and even if the Young Bucks won, at least I got the match. You know what I mean? But we're not even getting it. So, all right, let's go to the next match here. Another grudge match of major proportions. None other than Jungle Boy Jack Perry versus Christian Cage.
I think Christian Cage wins with Luchasaurus turning.
100%. You just totally stole it from me. You might as well have been speaking my words at that point. And they sort of prefaced it with the JR interview where they were sort of pointing out, Christian's injured elbow. So I know Jungle Boy is going to be, going after it, and there's going to be the turn. And honestly, Luchasaurus should be with Christian Cage. You and I, and anybody who's ever seen Kane can see the resemblance there. And they would be the best thing for Luchasaurus's career to become a heel.
Yeah, I don't think that's even a question that's not happening.
Yeah.
I think it's still going to be cool to see, because I thought it was kind of bullshit how he turned heel right away initially. Yeah. To have that moment where he turns on Jungle Boy Jack Perry, that's a whole other vibe. I think that's going to be a lot cooler, even though we know it's coming.
Yep. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And again, and it's a good place to do it too, in Chicago, where, the fans will definitely eat it up. So, all right, next match. The American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, against the Wizard, the sports entertainer, the Ayatollah of rock and roll, Y2J, whatever you want to call him, the Lionheart, Chris Jericho, versus Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon. How do you say this goes?
I'm going to say Danielson wins this one because he's owed a couple of wins here.
Oh, yeah. If he loses this, I will throw something out my window.
Jericho's been looking good, though, man. He's in great shape. Give him credit.
Somebody compared him to looking like mid-90s Sam Kinison with the hair.
I hope it's not mid-90s Sam Kinison. He didn't last too fucking long. Be careful driving on Mulholland, Jericho.
But I saw a picture. I looked up a picture, and I'm like, you know what? When I see him on commentary, it's not too far-fetched.
Ow! Ow! I felt legs! Ow!
And Garcia's going to play a role in this match, right? He's going to might cost Jericho, or is he come to defend Danielson, perhaps?
That's the one thing I noticed when Danielson was leaving. He was kind of a dick. Danielson's kind of a dick. Is this character? He's like, thanks, buddy. But Daniel Garcia, it seems like he's kind of conflicted. I don't know what good it would do to keep. Now that you've opened this box, I don't know what good it would do to keep him heel. So I think Danielson wins, and maybe there's that embrace between Garcia and Danielson that you kind of see, and hopefully both Blackpool Comic Club kicks Wheeler Yuta out. He's kind of a nerd.
Yeah, he's not really like the fans kind of dig him. I kind of dug him originally, but then I'm like, whatever.
Meh.
Yeah. He's meh.
So yeah, but we both got Danielson. Okay, so I'm
yeah. So,
I'm trying to find ways to get this to take you out here. So far, I only have 2 different matches from you with the 2 papers.
Well, this is definitely the match that you could probably do it in. None other than the Casino Ladder match, in which we have Claudio Castagnoli versus your favorite Wheeler Yuta, as you just mentioned his name, versus Ray Phoenix versus Penta El Cero Miedo versus Andrade El Idolo versus Roosh versus Dante Martin versus the Joker. So they literally put all tag teams in there, which is kind of weird to me. So is this a tag team? I got to ask Meltzer how this is brilliant.
Very big AAA vibe too, with the Lucha Brothers. Big time Lucha Libre vibe to it. You got 4 there. Then who else we got? We had Dante Martin. He's essentially a Lucha. They came out wearing masks to honor Lucha Libres. So he definitely is of the style of Lucha Libre. Lucha. Who are the other 2 participants? Well, one's a Joker.
Yeah, you have a Joker, and then so you have Roosh, Andrade, Penta, Ray Phoenix, Wheeler Yuta, and Claudio.
Okay, so everyone's in Lucha style except for Yuta and Claudio. Gotcha. And who the Joker's going to be? I don't think any of those 6 guys, I don't think any of them win this match. The Joker is going to win this match. Question is who's the Joker? The question is the man who is the only guy who has ever overshadowed CM Punk on the microphone. Is he going to be the guy? Are we going to hear the ding? I am hoping, as many of you are as well, if you didn't get it, it is rumored that MJF will be the Joker in this particular ladder match. MJF, Maxwell Jacob Freeman, who has not been seen since the Dynamite after
3 months today.
3 months today, where he was taken off air for calling Tony Khan a fucking mark in front of Discovery and HBO Max executives. Wow.
He's right.
Well, no shit. But that mark changed professional wrestling more than any other man has over the last 10 years, if not 20. And that's just the reality. Whatever everyone wants to say, whatever you want about Tony Khan, he is a rich mark, but he helped professional wrestling more than anyone else has over the last decade or 2. Because a lot of what AEW is doing has a lot to do with what's going on in WWE as well. I know he's a mark, but come on, he's a good dude. I love you, Tony. I just wish I could give him a big hug right now.
He'd hug you back.
Oh, no, he wouldn't, because I'm not CM Punk. All right.
Everybody.
But I digress.
So we're together on the Joker, and we both believe it's MJF, and that place is going to erupt. And you know what? They're going to actually cheer him, even though it's Chicago. It's going to go nuts. Even Uncle Dave has admitted that he's coming back.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, a lot of people, that's been the vibe. I mean, look, it makes no financial sense for him to sit at home and not do anything for a year and a half. We said that when he first did it. No one thought this was going to last. If you did, you were insane. No dude is going to sit home for a year and a half and not get paid. He's not really rich in real life, folks. For the record. He's not, I wouldn't call him a poor, but he's not. You know.
But even more importantly, it makes more sense if you're an owner of a wrestling company. You need ratings, especially when you're trying to re-up with a new conglomerate here.
Yeah, 100%. That's another big that the show has missed him dearly. I think MJF was proven to be as sorely missed as anybody else. with the exception of maybe Omega. But I would argue that MJF brought something completely different than Omega. And I would also argue that MJF is probably pound for pound more entertaining than Kenny Omega. I don't think he's a better in-ring performer, but your average MJF segment's better than your average Kenny Omega segment. That's not even close. Is your average MJF match better than your average Kenny Omega match? No. But everything else, I mean, professional wrestling just isn't the pay-per-views. It's everything else.
Yeah, I'd agree. I pretty much agree with almost all of what you just said there. And I just think he's been sorely missed. The show has definitely been lacking without MJF. So if he does return, the place is going to go crazy, and it's going to be great because, hey, you know what? It doesn't matter who the champion is. They have the option to go and roll him out against whoever it is. And, we'll get to the world title match shortly. I'm really looking forward to it. If the Joker is not MJF, I'm going to be a bit annoyed. So I can't really imagine who else it might be, but I'd be disappointed. So what do you say? Hey, I'm sorry. You want to finish that thought?
Anybody else would be a little bit of a disappointment unless it's somebody insane like Braun Strowman.
He'll be on Raw on Monday.
Great. Good. The monster among men is back. You're not going to be able to get out of that control your narrative contract?
It's amazing how those control your narrative guys are fleeing that sinking ship, huh? They will be in Sayreville, New Jersey, not long from now, actually.
I'm busy, though.
Yeah, me too. So here, talking about disappointment, here's another match for you. Wardlow and FTR versus Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns for a trios match that means nothing.
Nope. I think the Pinnacle win this one.
I agree completely. It is what it is. I don't
spend much time on this match, to be honest with you. We know that the fact of the matter is, we talked about it at nausea. FTR and Young Bucks need to happen, and they need to be. And the AEW World Title should be involved. So if this doesn't happen by Full Gear, I think Tony Khan is fucking up, and I've changed my tune a little bit. So there.
I got you.
I'm a big man. I can admit when I'm wrong.
You just see the writing on the wall now, man. I just had to help you find the wall.
Well, I didn't want to speculate. You don't want to speculate on people's feelings and what's going on behind the scenes because we're not there. And we still don't know if it's because I contend this. The Young Bucks wanted to finish whatever storyline they're working on right now. It was Tony Khan did not pull the trigger on that match. But by the way, did you notice this about Daxton? Did you feel like this past weekend, this past show, the 6-man tag, he was just in with Wardlow and Cash? He didn't look like he was himself. He looked like he wasn't really himself. Did you notice that or no?
Well, it was a pretty quick match. It seemed like, I wouldn't say they were going through the motions, but it was just one of those, squashes, and it is what it is. And, again, it's pretty much the go home event, leading into this pay-per-view. And, here he's with his, he's one half of the, greatest tag teams that have ever lived. And he's there with Wardlow, who's one of the hottest talents on the planet. And they got some sort of squash match going on, leading into another match against, Jay Lethal, who they've seen enough of. And the Motor City Machine Guns, who, listen, Motor City Machine Guns, very talented tag team. I can't
Motor City, Steve. Yeah. Motor City.
But I can't take much away from them. I mean, they were great, especially 10 years ago.
I honestly didn't know the difference between them and the Young Bucks 10 years ago.
Well,
that was 10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I understand, but that was 10 years ago, and that's saying, here they're just throwing them in front of you. Here you go. These guys are from Impact. Another Forbidden Door reference. Okay, great, awesome.
Are they still in Impact, or are they now in AEW?
I believe they're in Impact. They were in Impact recently, from what I read. Not that I watch Impact.
It's a good show. It's not bad. It's not on my any. I watch too much wrestling. I can't watch 20 hours of wrestling a week.
Right.
I watch that's 7 now. It's pretty ridiculous.
It's good. It's good. So let's go to the next match here. TBS Championship. Your favorite gal pal, none other than Jade Cargill against Athena.
Do you know Jade Cargill has a master's degree in children's psychology?
Wow, that's great.
It'll be in a complete article I'm writing for Everyday Fan. I am actually doing a special on Jade Cargill and one on Kenny Omega.
Of course.
It was a random picking. My boss was really nice to me. She gave me Kenny Omega. I was excited about that because I do love Kenny.
You are like, what are you? You were almost like the, who's the Japanese guy that comes out with him?
Michael Nakazawa.
Nakazawa, who's basically like his, his guy on the road that he's his lackey, or, maybe the guy that helps him, give him a hand here and there.
I don't know. What do you mean?
You know what I mean.
No, I don't know. What do you mean? You mean gives him a hand? Like carries his bags?
Yeah, when they're on the road and he needs a hand, he gives him a hand.
Yeah, it's lackey.
I mean that's why he's there, right?
That's not the guy he's rumored to have a relationship with, if that's what you're getting at.
Oh, he's monogamous?
I don't think he's banging Michael Nakazawa, is my point. And it's irrelevant.
I didn't.
Why do you even go there, Vladi Dadi?
Well, why do I have to see that guy there all the time?
It's part of the Kenny Omega character. He's over the top.
Yeah.
He's an assistant. He's an EVP. He's a game changer. He's a world changer.
He certainly is. I mean,
he's Kenny by God Omega.
He's pushed back the limits of women's wrestling about 20 years.
Jesus Christ.
He's done a bang up job there. I hope I'm
certainly not going to defend the women's division.
Yeah. So tell me, who are you choosing here? I'm assuming Jade, right?
Yeah, she's not losing as much. She's not losing.
Yeah, there's no way she's losing.
She's not losing that until Statlander comes back, and that's hopefully Statlander can still maintain the same momentum she was having.
Yeah, they can't mess her comeback up because they had something there, and it was organic, and then they sort of blew it out, and it was a very strange thing. That was a Ruby Riott related, remember? She's a great pickup too.
Whatever. I mean, you want to talk about Ruby Soho for 10 minutes?
No, not at all. She's not worth the time or the breath. What we should do is just get into like how she's her facials are like have really revolutionized wrestling.
All right, man. Any other people who aren't on the pay-per-view you want to complain about?
I'll just complain about the ones that are on it. Interim 8. Oh, another interim. Because the first one worked out so well, we're going to have another interim world title, but this time for the women's. Interim AEW Women's World Championship match here between Toni Storm, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, Jamie Hayter, and Sheeta.
First of all, I want to go on record. I'm actually one of the few people that like the interim thing. I think it does. I think what it does is it builds in an instant feud with you. You still have an acting champion, and then it builds in just as it did with CM Punk and Moxley. It builds in if the guy's gone for a while. It does build in that. Okay, who's the real champion? The problem is it's happening too often. Now it's like the third or fourth time.
Bingo.
So the reality is they just got to do it. They can't do it this often. Because it makes it a little. Now Moxley, I thought, did a great job with it, and I think they've booked this very well overall. Little weird overall. I still don't know how to process this past week, the promos and everything. Ace Frehley, I didn't even know he was friends with.
Ace Steele.
Whatever.
Get it right, buddy.
Ace Frehley. Ace Steely. But But anyways, I think that you're going to see. I do like the interim idea if it's done correctly, and not quite as much as they're doing it. I don't hate it because you could still have it be just part of this. You do have that kind of stuff in other sports like MMA, so I don't hate it. I actually like the interim thing overall. Here, look, a good wrestler is going to get it over, and a bad wrestler is not going to. So whoever wins this match, and I really want Jamie Hayter to win, but I think it's going to be Tony Storm. But I'm going to go Jamie. But I'm going to go Jamie Hayter anyway because who the fuck knows?
I want Tony Storm.
All right, good. Then I got something different from you.
And listen, I prefer Jamie Hayter, I'll be honest with you. But the reason I'm choosing Tony Storm is that things that you've pick up on is that Tony Storm was supposed to beat Thunder Rosa when she's not hiding in the bathroom.
Well, I'm picking Jamie Hayter just because I want to be different.
You are definitely different. You're very unique.
My hamstring injury is very painful right now.
I'm sorry to hear that, man. I really am. It's too bad Nakazawa's not there to rub it for you.
I don't even think Nakazawa is gay, man.
He doesn't have to be gay. I don't understand why you're bringing it and sullying this whole conversation in such a way.
You weren't hinting at some kind of sexual relationship before.
Oh, no. It's totally platonic, I'm sure. So Jamie Hayter, one of my favorite female wrestlers at this point in time. I got to tell you, love her. Love that girl. But I'm choosing against her. I think what they're going to do there, and this is one of the reasons I also chose Tony Storm, is I got a feeling you're going to see some friction between Britt Baker and Hayter in this match. Finally.
Yeah, they had some about a year ago, and they've gotten along really well ever since then. But I would agree with that.
Yeah, so that's another reason I kind of went Tony Storm. All right, so let's see here. Okay, we're going to go do this. Well, you know what? How about this? Which one would you rather leave for last? Do you want to leave the trios or the World Championship last?
No, we got to respect the World Championship match. Okay. So we'll do that one last. Come on now.
All right. Okay. No, just because all right. So AEW World Trios Championship. So it's the Elite with your boy Kenny Omega and Generation Me versus probably the Dark Order. I know the Dark Order and Best Friends are wrestling on Rampage to find out, but we know Hangman Adam Page, which you and I predicted that there would be some sort of entanglement there a few weeks back as we're looking at the brackets and realizing that, oh wow, the Dark Order is going to actually beat the House of Black. And so what we're going to have is the Dark Order with Hangman Page, or as you like to call him, Hanger, against Kenny Omega and Generation Me. Who do you choose?
I think Kenny and the Bucks win.
Yeah, I agree. That's I think there's no way, I mean, this is just the story had to be told. There's no way they're going to tell it without them winning it. So this is it. I mean, this is like, they're going to really just implant that trios championship and put it on the Mount Rushmore of all belts. And this is what we're getting through these guys.
I think it's going to be a great match, though. I'll tell you that much. I think you're going to see just an absolute great match. And to be honest with you, Hangman makes it a lot more believable that they can win anything. I will say that because Preston Vance, well, what a devastating injury, by the way, to Evil Uno. Jesus Christ.
Crippled him.
I'm not 100% on that. On what the storyline has done so far. It's really going to have to see how it plays out for me to judge it yet. But I can't see Kenny Omega and the Bucks coming out of this as baby faces. So you're going to be able to so that was one of the worries we had about getting FTR and Young Bucks against each other. How are they going to do it? I think Young Bucks are going to walk out all out heels.
Yeah, it's odd because the way they sort of play it, like they even walked out of the face tunnels, but again, this could be, a joke within a joke or a layer within a layer like they like to do. So, but any which way, they're going to win. I don't know. It's just going to be, you're going to eat it up. I know for sure. You're going to love this match. And especially where do they turn with their relationship with Hangman of all things? I mean, you don't really care about the other two really, but Hangman, the Bucks, and Omega.
I will be honest with you, I'm not quite as emotionally invested, not nearly as emotionally invested as I was the first time around, the first parts. More of like, oh, let's see what happens. But I think it's going to be a really fun match because of the people involved.
Okay, so we're on the same page in terms of the picks. So Omega and the Bucks win. Quick question for you. You watch the, you've watched the last 2 times, or was it three weeks or so where Omega's been back with Don Callis?
Yes.
What did you think about the way Callis was approaching Ospreay?
Similar to Heyman and Roman several years ago.
Hey, I picked up on that as well, and I'm like, is he planting the seeds to turn on Kenny?
I think that is part of it. But I don't think you're going to see that. They're going to have a one-on-one match probably, I would assume, actually, possibly at Wrestle Kingdom, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I think you're going to see Ospreay and Kenny.
Yeah, I definitely, I'm with you, man. I'm like, Callis is going to turn on him. Obviously it's not going to happen here, but they definitely, to me, are planting some seeds there. So I'm glad you and I are on the same page on that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I like Ospreay.
He's great. He says bruv way too much, though, when he cuts a promo live. Bruv, what's up, bruv? What's in your face, bruv? Your face, bruv. I can't understand a word he says half the time, too.
I can understand him because I watch Peaky Blinders. That sort of helps me. Final match here. The AEW World Championship match. It's not the interim belt versus the World Championship. It is literally legit the World Championship match where Jon Moxley, the man who will drink your blood, he'll grind your bones and snort them. He's a tough guy against the Second City Saint, CM Punk. In the city of Chicago, mind you.
I think Punk wins, and I think he wins a very emotional, dramatic match. And the other thing about MJF, he might come out to confront him one more time, but we'll see at the end of that night. Because they usually like to do something like that at the end of their pay-per-views, something big. So...
Yeah, and on that note, let me ask you this, right? So let's just get CM Punk and MJF centric here. Not fantasy booking this, but we're assuming that the Joker is MJF. Here's what's bothering me a little bit about all of it. This is where I'm trying to figure it out, right? So Punk is definitely friendly with FTR. FTR is very friendly with Wardlow, obviously, because they're in this huge match on the pay-per-view with them. And they've mentioned the Pinnacle even. If MJF's a heel, like what's going on here? And the other thing to mind you is this, just maybe to take this into consideration. When MJF went ballistic 3 months ago today, the one guy that ran out there to go and sort of console him and talk to him was Punk.
That's right.
Is there any way this becomes a MJF Punk, Wardlow and FTR thing against Blackpool Combat Club, against the Jericho Appreciation Side, against, and I hope, the Elite?
I don't think so. I don't think they put Punk and MJF on the same side.
Yeah, that's the thing. That you're probably right, but this is that's what I'm trying to think. Because the only guy to come out there of all people to console him and just talk to him was Punk. So I'm trying to make sense of it because I don't see them turning four of those guys to heels.
No, neither do I. I don't know how they're going to play it.
Yeah.
Is it maybe we never had that seminal moment where FTR said "fuck you, Max" either.
Right.
They kind of pushed them off and said, hey, whatever. And then they said they didn't want to get involved with the Wardlow and MJF beef. So at that point in time, we never saw that FTR, but they're already clearly baby faces. So they don't need that moment anymore. It's very weird. It was very weirdly done. And it was weird how organically FTR turned babyface by accident almost.
Yep. Yeah. Just something to consider, and like you said, that last final moment, you're building up, And if he's the Joker and wins, it's like, okay, ideal, of course, Punk and MJF for the world title now. Makes all the sense in the world. But yeah, it's just one of those things to think of. And I'm curious because even, we mentioned a couple weeks ago where one of the, I forget which one of the guys from FTR mentioned, like, it was like, like basically it was like spelt out MJF. And it's like, yeah, they're sort of alluding to him coming back. And if they're baby faces and he's a heel, why are they alluding to a heel coming back? And it just, I'm so fascinated by that part of AEW at this moment.
Yeah, I think MJF coming back is good for everybody. And hopefully we get that this Sunday, and I'm actually really excited about it. But CM Punk wins an emotional match over Jon Moxley, and Jon Moxley. Well, I guess to make this match a little bit cooler and a little bit more emotional is why they had the squash match last week. It still was a little weird booking. So Moxley's only going to be a champion for 2 weeks. It's okay. Moxley had a great summer. It was the summer of Moxley. What much to many people's chagrin, he's considered, one of the biggest names and draws in AEW and in all of wrestling. So I kind of dug how Moxley was digging into Punk and just shitting on him in front of Chicago, and Chicago giving him a little bit of shit. That was kind of cool. What did you think of the CM Punk promo with Ace Frehley?
His name's Ace Steel. We need to be. I thought it was excellent. It was a great babyface promo. And even initially, like, all right, we saw this guy after Punk lost, got squashed, and he's helping him. And, again, I wasn't really familiar with him. Like, who's this guy? One of these things. It's like, is this a throwaway sort of moment? Well, evidently it wasn't. And, one of the things I thought was kind of weird, too, was like Moxley leaving the contract in the middle of the ring, and nobody else runs out there for it. Nobody else wants it.
I was thinking that myself, yeah.
I'm like, come on. I'm like, where's R-Truth? He should have run out there.
I want to take you on, John Cena.
Exactly. It would have been a great moment, man. That would have been the forbidden door opening right there through R-Truth. Vince would have loved it.
Vince will.
But instead,
hey, pal. Hey, Tony, I know we never really talked much.
Every time.
Comedy gold.
Yeah, so here you have it. Go ahead.
I thought were they ever tag team champions, CM Punk and R-Truth? I know he's champions with Kofi Kingston. No, he lost to R-Truth and The Miz. That's right.
Yes. Yeah. The miserable truth, right? So they had you had a situation there with, a Steel coming out, picking it up. And I'm like, okay, so, obviously Punk's involved. Punk comes out, does his whole what was me, and I did laugh at how he fat shamed the one guy about being a virgin now too, because the guy yelled out Colt Cabana's name.
Did he really? I didn't see. I saw that, but I didn't know what the guy said.
Yeah, he yelled out Colt Cabana, and then Punk just called him a fat virgin, basically. So then from there, you had Steel come out, and actually, I don't know if you caught it, but he dropped an F-bomb on live TV and has been fined by AEW internally as well. So yeah, that was, part of the promo. And then I'll send you a picture when Punk goes out into the crowd and agrees to do the match as he's signing it. The contract out there amongst his people of Chicago, there is almost a Lion King-esque picture where Punk's in the sort of the upper, the second level, if you will. Somebody just below him is literally holding an infant like Lion King up to him, like he's God or something, man. If you could edit that into this moment, it'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, I'm going to go back and watch it because I was kind of distracted when I watched it earlier today. So I want to go back and really get nuts and bolts of it.
But I liked the emotion. I liked, okay. All of a sudden I didn't, for the guy, as far as Ace Steel is concerned, I'm like, I didn't know who this guy and did not care. But as soon as he started talking and got right into Punk's face, I totally bought into it. So I did like that part of it. I'm picking Punk as well, of course. I'm looking forward to him actually being the champ here. I'm a fan. So, it's just, I need to I'm very curious, especially if MJF is involved, to go and see where they're going to go with all of this.
100%. Well, there you have it, folks. So there's no way I could win. I think we had 3 total different matches in the 2 cards. So there's no way I can win. Vladi, Dadi, you are the champion. Not a lot of drama last pay-per-view because we had all the same picks as well. So this time around, I did not have enough to even make it a two. You could even beat me by 7 matches. Vladi, Dadi, you were the new purple Nurple champion. And that's all we got for you this week, folks. With high spots and cheap pops. This is Silicon Steve Alley for Vladi, Dadi. We got all your pay-per-views in, all your pay-per-view picks in. So please check it out this weekend, starting tomorrow night on the WWE Network. Check out Clash at the Castle. And then, of course, AEW All Out on pay-per-view on Sunday night, Labor Day weekend tradition. And I think there's an NXT pay-per-view or an NXT event during the day, but I could be wrong. I think it's NXT UK's last event or something. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, I think they're combining them or something like that. So yeah, I mean,
I'm not gonna.
It is what it is. Yeah, I'm not gonna watch that either.
All right, folks. Well, thanks for watching, and thank you for listening to High Spots and Cheap Pops for Vladi, Dadi. This is Silicon Steve Alley. Here endeth the lesson.